Hello, my friends, and happy Thursday morning. Morning, no, sorry, happy Thursday evening. It seems like morning. Maybe it's because I'm so excited about this project. In fact, a lot of you have contacted us and said that you're excited about this project. And this is a project that I have done before in a slightly different interpretation. And today we are reinterpreting the Shekere necklace. And let me show you what the new version looks like. Both versions, because do you guys remember when we had the Shekere necklace the very first time? And it sold out in like about 5 minutes, and we were all so very sad. So guess what? Having gone back to Tucson, and I made it a point while in Tucson to pick up all sorts of wonderful things that can be used in the Shekere necklace. And guess what? We were able to redo the older version. I shouldn't really call it the older version because really it's not old. It's the original and very exciting version. And that is this one, the one that has all the Herkimer diamonds in it. And of course, the new version of the Shekere necklace is the teardrop. And actually we called it Raindrop. Sounds happier than a teardrop, right? And so this is what it looks like. It has the chakra stones. It has the 3 interchangeable stones that we will be putting in our necklace. Because, you know, part of the excitement of this necklace is that, of course, everything is so interchangeable. It comes with 3 different teardrops, and they are undrilled. They're very beautiful. We have a rose quartz. We have a rock crystal quartz. And then, of course, we have the beautiful labradorite. And so you can always, depending on your mood, you can interchange the stones if you are in a crystal mood or a labradorite mood. And then, of course, a little later on, now I will show you the other stones that are included in the original project. So, you know, while we are just getting ready to make the Shekere necklace, I would love to say hello to everyone. And I think we're having difficulties actually getting messages again. You know how sometimes Facebook is just a little goofy, I will say. And so we are getting messages 5-10 minutes later or so. So eventually, if you are saying hi, I will hear from you. But in the meantime, I do actually want to say something else entirely. I don't want to scare you, but so we're having that issue again where we're getting contacted by scammy accounts. And so their comments, so in the comments, if you ever see a comment with a link and they make themselves sound as if they're us, and they're saying something like, for Irina's next live tutorial, go, you know, follow this link. So please do not follow links that come from anything other than Eclectica or Irina Mish. They are scammy links if it's asking you for the for your credit card, I should say, because please know that all of my tutorials are absolutely free, and none of my tutorials will require you to give your credit card number. So don't follow those. and everybody will be happy. In the meantime, you know, I didn't want to scare you. It's just a warning so that your credit card information does not get into the wrong hands.
Suni says hello.
Hello, Suni.
And Jolene says hello.
Hi, Jolene.
Kim C says greetings, Irina, Tony, Lauren, and all.
Hello, Kim.
Fonda says good snowy evening, everyone.
Hello, Fonda. And yes, it's going to be a pretty snowy evening here in Wisconsin. Oh my goodness, we are expecting a lot of snow today.
Sarah says good evening.
Hello, Sarah. Good evening. I'm just showing you that this type of a netting is not necessarily customized to the drop, so you can put other shapes of stones in the netting. Just playing with it as we chat.
Lori says good evening, Irina, Tony, and Lauren.
Hello, Lori. Good evening.
Kathy H says hello.
Hi, Kathy.
And Katie S. Angela says good evening.
Hi, Angela.
Fonda says I just wore my necklace yesterday.
Oh, yay, Fonda. That's awesome. Did you get any comments on your beautiful necklace?
Pammy J says good evening, Irina, Tony, Lauren, and everyone.
Hello, Pammy J.
Giovanna says good evening.
Hi, Giovanna.
Patricia says good evening to all.
Hello, Patricia.
And Trudy says hi, everyone.
Hi, Trudy.
Suni is wondering, will the Herkimer be available in a kit?
Yes, Suni. Thank you so much for asking. So maybe I should explain. So there are 3 different kits. They're all Shekere necklaces, and 2 out of 3 come with the Herkimer diamonds. So here is what comes with the Herkimer diamonds, the ones that I'm playing with, in fact, right this moment. So there are 2, and one is with this very, very pretty, I love dogtooth, or actually chevron amethyst, and labradorite, and of course rock crystal or natural crystal. So this is one of the necklaces that comes with the Herkimer, and it looks like this. And then the other one is identical as far as the Herkimer and the little silver smart bead right here. And anybody who is new to the smart bead, I will explain exactly what a smart bead does. And so the other version that includes the Herkimer comes with the rose quartz and aventurine, green aventurine. And of course, all of these are just slightly different in shape, but as you can see, the netting just adjusts to the shape of your stone really beautifully. So we can always swap out our stones. And then, and then gabbro. I know that gabbro is not a stone everybody is familiar with. It's a type of marble, and I love it. It's black and purple, and it just has these really beautiful patterns. So so that's the gabbro. So we have the dark green aventurine, the really pretty rose quartz and gabbro. That's one of the kits. And then the other kit is the amethyst point, the quartz, and of course the absolutely gorgeous labradorite, and each one is beautiful. Of course, there are going to be a lot of variations in the stone. And the one, so if you buy one of these, or maybe both, the link that you will get in the kit is to the older video from maybe 3-4 months ago. And if you are getting the raindrop, that's the one that is with the chakra stones. So if you're getting the raindrop, it will give you a link to this video. And I hope that answers your question.
Fonda says, thanks for the heads up on the scammers. And Lori says, I just received 2 of them.
Oh, yeah, I wish I could say it's my pleasure. It's really not my pleasure to talk about it, ladies. But I would rather warn you, follow one of those scammy links and give somebody your credit card. That is a scary thing, right? But it's not meant to scare you. It's just meant to prevent something that we don't want to happen.
Lori says, can we make this with you tonight?
Lori, absolutely. If you have all the materials, please do. That would be fantastic.
Ellen says, hi, Irina and everyone.
Hi, Ellen.
Betty says, I love that netting.
Oh, thank you so much, Betty. You know what? It's so easy. Just wait till you see.
Kim K says, happy Thursday. Can't wait to make one of these beautiful necklaces.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim.
Kathy G says, good evening, everyone. Looking forward to the lovely necklace.
Good evening, Kathy, and thank you.
Amy says, hi, everyone.
Hi, Amy.
Elise says, hello. Are you going to show us how to make the netting?
Of course. I wouldn't just tease you and not show you.
Gabby says, hello, everyone. I'm so excited for this new version of the Shekere necklace, one of my faves.
Oh, thank you so much, Gabby. Thank you.
Kim C says, love the chevron amethyst from your store. So happy to see it in the Shekere kit.
Thank you so much. And you know what? Just heads up. Tomorrow we are exploring all sorts of cool amethyst, and I will have more of those amethyst points for you, as well as other absolutely delicious focal point pieces.
Joni says, polished agate slices would be pretty in that too.
Oh, yes. I mean, literally anything that you enjoy. It could be a beach stone. It could be a cool piece of sea glass. It could be, I don't know, it could even be a pod. I'm a pod person, so I like pods. But I love stones, and this is really what it's about. This is a great way to show off a beautiful stone, and you're not committing to always having the same stone in it. In fact, that's why maybe, I don't know if everybody saw, but earlier I put a ruby in here, and I do want to make sure you guys know the ruby does not come with the kit, but just for the sake of showing you a different shape in the same netting. And I had these rubies when we did the magenta. Remember when we did all sorts of rubies and other similarly colored stones? And several of you got the ruby, so just saying, you could do something like this with it.
Fonda's wondering if you've made the Shekere necklace using chain instead of Ceylon.
I have not, Fonda. It's kind of an interesting thought. And maybe, who knows, maybe at some point we'll explore it. It's, you know what, it's really a very interesting edit. Now I'm talking myself out of it because some of the stones are a bit softer, so chain might scratch the stone. And yeah, so I think I'm talking myself out of it.
Kathy S says, made the old version and it worked for beach glass, I found.
Oh, fantastic, Kathy. I'm so glad you said that. So yeah, it just, sky's the limit. You can put a shell, you can put a cool shell in it, right? So really, whatever you feel like putting in the netting, it's like, it's like one of those little European shopping bags. So whatever you can fit in it, anything goes, really.
Carol says, hello all, a bit late.
Hi, Carol. It's okay. You're not really late because guess what? We have not even started yet. We've just been chatting. But you know what? It's that time. It is time to start.
Ellen says, I love this necklace. Got first round, and people always ask about this one, the Herkimer diamond.
Oh, thank you so much, Ellen. Yeah, I do enjoy my Herkimer diamond version of it, I wear mine all the time and I get so many comments on this version. I should probably not show you the little empty netting. It just looks kind of sad when it's empty, but we're about to fill it and make it beautiful.
Patricia says, I love the ruby I got.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. And who knows, maybe it'll end up as part of this necklace, right?
And Elise is wondering, what materials do we need?
Good question. So I will tell you about the materials as we get started. And just so you know, when you get the kit from our Etsy shop, and all 3 versions at this point are listed in the Etsy shop. And I will say that last time it sold out rather quickly. So if you are thinking about it, maybe think soon. So everything is in the Etsy shop and it will tell you exactly what's in each kit.
Allie says, hi, this is a fun necklace.
Thank you so much, Allie, and hi. All right, ladies, so we are, and this is standard size Ceylon, which is what I do a lot of projects with. And
Kathy H says, I just got the Herkimer kit.
oh, fantastic. Thank you so much, Kathy. I'm sure you will enjoy it. You know, as I said, I really do love wearing mine. Okay, guys, so we're going to do that thing where we make the self needle. So let me actually, before we get started, let me just backtrack to what is it that we are making the self needle with. So in this necklace, when you get the kit, you will actually get your pre-cut Ceylon, and the Ceylon is cut. So here's the Ceylon. It is cut into 6-foot segments, and you have a total of 3. So you're working with 18 feet of Ceylon. And even if I know it's a little hard to work with such a long length, especially multiple lengths. But you know, once you get it started, it gets really easy. Probably the hardest part is just kind of lining up the Ceylon and tying a knot in the center, which is exactly why this is what I did. So I have my 3 segments of Ceylon lined up. And as you can see, I'm using a bead stopper to tell me exactly where the center is. I love these bead stoppers and I use them for so many things.
Lori's wondering if you can use cotton cord to practice.
I don't see why not, Lori. I mean, to practice, you can use just about anything, right? So as you can see, I have my 3 lengths of Ceylon lined up so that the ends are about the same. And so this little stopper is right in the center, and this way I know exactly. So I'm going to start making the knot. It's just a regular overhand knot, which I'm making with all 3 lengths of Ceylon. And you're probably thinking, why do I have a little stopper on one of the ends? Well, you don't need to have a stopper on one of the ends, but I marked it with a stopper so that I know which one I have not yet made a self needle with.
Allie says, I like the pink handles on your bead stoppers.
Oh, thank you so much, Allie. You know what? These are my new bead stoppers, and you know, I used to use the kind without the little handles, and these are the new ones that we carry in the store now. And I don't know if we have them in the Etsy shop. Tony says no, not yet. But I'm really liking these because they're just kind of softer and easier to grip. It's just a better grip for me. So I do recommend them. And so now, as you can see, I have a knot. It's right in the center, so I don't really need a bead stopper next to it anymore. So once we've tied the knot, and you really don't have to do it in this same exact order. We could make the self needles first and then tie the center knot, whichever makes you happy. And so now I'm going to start making the self needles with all of my ends. But then, of course, I already told you that I made the self needles with 5 out of 6 ends. So now we're just going to make a self needle with just the one remaining end. So as you can see, I use super glue to put right over my sealon at the end, maybe like 1 or 2 inches. And I will let it dry while I'm putting the cap on my glue. So as I mentioned, I have already done this with all the other ends. So while this guy is drying, I'm just going to start cutting off the ends. And the reason I cut the ends is so that they're pointy like a needle. So as you can see, I'm doing it at a nice angle with just my regular wire cutter.
And how long is each cord again?
And again, each cord is 6 feet in length. Mine are a little shorter because, of course, you know, when you're demoing it and there's a camera, and since I really don't want to hit Tony in the face as I'm tying knots, I made my cords a little shorter. But yours are going to be 6 feet in length.
Ellie says, I'll stop by soon to get some. The handles are easier to see too.
Oh, thank you so much, Ellie. That'll be great. Yeah, I think you like those. They're just, you know, just that little thing. It makes it so much easier to grip. So obviously my end that I just glued and made the self needle with, it's dry. So I snipped the end off. And so now all 6 ends have this kind of a little pointy end, right? So you can see the little point right at the end, just like a little needle. And so now we are ready to get started.
Bobby says, hi all, at the office here in Big Black Creek, Wisconsin.
Hi, Bobby. I'm so glad you joined us. All right, ladies. So here we go. So you can see we have our knot, and there are 3 ends of our sealon on each side of the knot. So we are going to pair all 6 of our ends. So instead of 3 and 3, we're now going to have 2, 2, and 2. And so the first thing that I'm doing is I'm just grabbing 1 sealon end from each side of the knot, and we're going to have these so that they're nice and parallel like this. And I'm going to tie a knot. And we are going to look at the ruler in just a moment. And I think I'm going for about 1/2 inch or so in length. And here's my ruler, it's right here. So let me show you right now where we are in the project. So can you guys see a slightly larger knot right here, right at the bottom of the drop? Well, that is the knot that we initially made. So the first knot is right here. And so right now we're going for one of the knots in the first row. So here we go. I'm just making this a little bit further out, and this is going to be right about 1/2 inch. As can you guys see? It's about 1/2 inch. I'll turn the ruler so that it's easy to see. So it's about 1/2 inch if you measure from about the center of the first knot to the center of the second knot. And now I will do the same with the 2 remaining pairs. So, so there's a very intuitive pair right here and a very intuitive pair right here. And we don't have to change them. We're not doing anything. We're just keeping them as they are. And again, we are going to try to keep about the same distance from that first knot that we have in the center. So that first initial knot. So here we go, and maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a little too close or maybe not. So there's a little leeway. You know, we're not a machine, so it's not always going to be exact to the millimeter. But if you're in the ballpark of about 1/2 inch, so let's measure the knots. And again, it's from about the center of the first knot to the center of the next knot. It's about 1/2 inch. And the same here. So that's pretty much what we want to stick to. And so now I'll show you what it looks like. So it's kind of like a little propeller. It has 3 sides, right? And because we took one of each string to make this knot, or one of each string from the 2 sides of the center knot, this makes a little bit of a loop. The other 2 remain straight like this. And so now we are going to just always take 1 string from each pair and recross them. And I like to use a string that's closest to the next string. So to me, this one looks like it's the closest, and I will cross it with this one. And I don't think we need a ruler anymore at this point.
Randy says, love how you explain. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Randy. All right, guys. So again, we're going for that same distance, which is approximately 1/2 inch. And so I'm controlling the overhand knot as I make it. And here we go. So this is about the same. Now I'm just looking at this distance and trying to make it very similar. And before I finalize my knot and tighten it, I can slide it a little bit, move it. Okay, so this is the knot that's in the next row. And I will do the same thing with this pair. So again, I have a remaining string right here, and I just take another string from this pair, and we are going to make a new pair. So we're always taking a string from one pair and making a new pair with it.
Kim K is wondering, if you had smaller stones, would you make the length between the knots a little shorter?
Absolutely, Kim. That's a great question. Most definitely, because if you happen, so if you happen to watch this video, let's say if you are getting one of the kits with the Herkimer, it's a slightly different measurement. And so when you watch that video, I'm sure I talk about the distance between the knots, and it's not a huge difference, but can you see that like the knots form kind of a little diamond, right? And can you see how the diamond is just a little bit smaller in the new version rather than in the older version? So you can see the difference, right? I'm hoping that you can. All right, ladies. So where is our work in progress? Okay, I had to untangle it a little bit from something else.
Elise is wondering, she says the video keeps glitching. Well, Facebook is like that tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry,
And I missed how to tie the knots. Is this video going to be available to rewatch later and pause where we need it?
Yes, absolutely. It will be available. In fact, all of our videos are available to rewatch whenever you want to. And let me just kind of break down the knot. So this is a very typical knot that I make for so many different projects. And you make it by wrapping the string around 2 fingers like this. And this is just called an overhand knot. And so now I am going to just grab this. You see how I'm pushing the string, in this case both strings, into the loop that I just made. Grab the two strings and tighten the knot. So again, we're going for that same length. And since I did this 3 times, I completed the next row.
Randy is wondering, can we use thin leather?
Randy, I'm sure you can. It's going to be a little bit more bulky. So depending on the size of the stone, for a smaller stone, leather is just not going to work very well. But for a larger stone, I would say it's a good idea. Okay, so every once in a while, I pick up the stone and just look at how everything fits. And now I'm going to start on the next row. So as you can see, since my first row is completed, or as actually it's the second row. So I'm going for the next row, and again, I'm just taking one string coming out of each knot, and we are going to tie it.
Allie says, yes, we see the difference.
Oh, fantastic. I'm so glad you responded. Thank you so much.
Kim K says, thank you. I just ordered a kit.
Oh, yay. Thank you so much. Yeah, so you guys, it's a small adjustment. When you make the adjustment for a smaller stone, just kind of tie the string maybe a little bit experimentally, meaning don't tighten it, and see how it fits your stone. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, if your knot has not been tightened yet, you can always move it slightly in or slightly out and just kind of experiment until you get very comfortable with what you need in terms of the length between the knots to accommodate the stone. It's really a fairly easy thing to figure out.
Bobby says, Irina's always so thorough. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Bobby. I really do appreciate that. Okay, guys, so it may look like a little bit of a mess, right? It's not. So sometimes as you're making the knot, the netting, just figure out where everything is just by kind of pulling at all the strings like this. And, you know, it's just going to look like a little triangular basket almost. Can you guys see that? So just stop and do that occasionally, and you will know that you are on the right track. And we are, believe it or not, we're actually getting pretty close to being done with the netting. I know it doesn't seem like it, but we will try our stone in the netting again. See how we're doing. And it looks to me like we might just need one more row, and then we're ready for the next step. Now, it may even be easy or easier to keep the stone in the netting to gauge where the knots should be. So here's where I'm placing my knot, but actually for me, it's not easier with the stone in. I prefer not to have the stone in as I actually do the knot tying.
Allie says, similar to the hanging plant holders.
Oh my gosh, Allie, well, I don't know, maybe it is identical. I don't know how they actually make them, but I would assume that you could make a plant holder doing, using the very same technique. So I could definitely see that. And if you're making a shopping bag, you could probably use the same exact technique, but I think you will need more strings. So you guys know what shopping bags I'm referring to, right?
Lori says, I'm having fun trying to keep up with you, Irina.
Oh, thank you so much, Lori. How are you doing? So, are you keeping up? What row are you on? Okay, you guys, so I have one more knot left for this row, and then I think we will be done with the knotting. So as you decide if this is your last row, just put your stone back in and I will show you what mine looks like. So the netting is actually not meant to reach the top of the stone. So here we go. The stone goes in. Can you guys see okay, or should I use a lighter stone? Would that be helpful, or does it matter? Can you guys see okay?
Maybe. Let's see a lighter stone.
You know what? Let's see the lighter stone. So let me just pop this out of the other necklace and we'll put it in. I think it may be easier to see it. So here we go. And this stone is, not only is it lighter, but it's just slightly smaller, I think. And as you can see, it just adjusts to the shape. So because this is a smaller stone, the knots are a little closer to the top, so they're not quite at the top of the stone. As you can see, they're not meeting at the top of the stone. Even if I really pull, they're almost meeting, but not really. So you don't really want them to touch. So they can be a little bit lower on the stone, that's okay. Or something like this, but ideally they're not right here where my fingertip is. And that's because if they're loose in the netting, it'll still work, but I like it when it's a little tighter rather than a little looser.
Kim C says, looks beautiful.
Thank you so much, Kim.
Randy says, the flash of the labradorite is like a flashlight.
I know, right? Look how cool it is. And I have to tell you, we actually handpicked all the stones that are going into your kits. They're all beautiful. Okay, guys, so now we have a little smart bead here. And I picked copper for this kit. I don't know, because we've already done silver, copper option. And so what a smart bead is, it's metal on the outside and it's silicone on the inside. So we can use it something like this, where it just slides along the string and it stays in place. And that is how it keeps everything in place, right? That's how it stays and keeps the netting in place.
Randy says you can tell they're hand-picked. They're gorgeous.
Oh, thank you so much, Randy. So what I'm going to do is start by pushing a few of, so remember when we made those self needles? Well, that's very helpful at this point because you can see I can very easily just string them into the opening in my smart bead. And maybe I can do one more, and then we'll see if I need a little help from my chain nose pliers. And because of the self needles, I may not even have to use my chain nose pliers, but if you do, I'll show you how to do that as well. So I really don't even have to. So if you have the self needles, it's really helpful. But if you don't, or somehow you're having trouble getting through, with that last one, this is how you do it. You just hold it with your chain nose pliers and push it into that little opening. And now we're through and we can keep going. Okay, so I have my smart bead on and I will pull on every one of the little strings just to make sure that they're all nice and tight, and because sometimes one might buckle a little bit, and once you tie the knot, it's not a good look. Hold on all of the strings and they're nice and straight, and I will tie a knot with all 6 of the strings.
Joni says, if you don't have a smart bead, can you use something else?
Well, I don't know, maybe you can figure out something else to use, but this is what works very well for me, because the silicone in the smart bead will expand and contract. So it's, I don't know of anything else that will work in the same way. So I tied a knot about 1 inch from the last knot. That's all you need. You can always make the distance longer, but I would not make it shorter. And now I'm again pulling on all of the ends to make the knot nice and tight.
Suni is wondering what size is the smart bead.
I'm going to say probably the outside diameter is about 8 millimeters, but it's the hole in the smart bead that is important, and they vary. Great one is about 1.5 millimeters. Okay, so now that we tied the knot, our smart bead can only go up to the knot, giving us just enough of an opening that we can pull out our bead, ta-da, or not bead, but our stone, and maybe put in a different stone. And then we just slide our smart bead back on. So I guess my concern in using up here would be that if it doesn't have that silicone component, it will just kind of slide up on its own, and then you may lose your stone. So that would be a concern in choosing something else to put right over the top of the stone.
Kim K is wondering if we have smart beads in the Etsy shop.
I believe so. Yes, we do, Kim, and thank you for asking.
Randy is wondering, do smart beads come in different sizes? Because I don't know if you can fit thin leather through it.
Yes, smart beads come in like a schmillion different sizes. Absolutely. Okay, ladies, so now I am dividing my strings into 2 groups of 3. And so that is what's going to be the 2 sides of our necklace. Again, I'm just going to put the stone in because it makes me unhappy to see it, to see just the empty netting. It's so much nicer with the stone in. And, okay, this one is being just a little stubborn. So, where was I? Yes, so you divide. Okay, why is it being so stubborn? I'll just pick a different opening and maybe it'll be more compliant. So once you divide, okay, there we go, so much better. So once you divide the 2 sides into 2 sets of 3 strings each, we're going to start adding our chakra beads, and that is a lot of fun. So let me get my chakra beads, and I'm not sure if I'm going to add all of the chakra beads right now or maybe just some of them. And so before we add our knot yet, and again, it's all the same knot. It's just a very simple overhand knot. And just tie it somewhere between 1/2 inch to 1 inch from the previous knot. And we will do the same thing on the other side. I have my 2 knots, and we will start adding the chakra beads. So it really doesn't matter which string you add them to. And we will start with the carnelian bead because, as you probably know, if you've seen other chakra beads, we're always placed in a specific order. I'm not an expert on chakras in any way, but I do know that they correspond to the various parts of our body. And so we always have them in the same order. And so I'm just going to follow that same order. And I started with the carnelian. And next, I'm going to have the lovely peach moonstone. And so what I do is I string the bead onto one of the strings, and then I place that in the center. I take the other two strings and place them on either side of the bead, and I'm essentially framing the bead with the two remaining strings, and then I tie the knot. So a little bit about the length of the necklace. So I don't remember what we said for the Herkimer diamond version, but for this version, we're saying that the maximum length is 32 inches. And you could probably make it just a little bit longer. There's a little padding in those numbers, but I pretty much had to decide, do we add more Ceylon and work with longer strings yet, which makes it that much more difficult, or do we just limit it to about 32 inches and work with 6 feet of Ceylon? And of course, I decided to do just that, because, you know, the longer the string, the more difficult it gets to work with it. And so can you guys see, as I add them with string, and this is exactly how I made the Herkimer diamond version as well. This is just the more colorful version. And so so far I have the carnelian, and followed by the peach moonstone, and after the peach moonstone we have the yellow quartz, green aventurine, which is what I'm on right now, and they will move a little bit, but I do have a little bit of a trick to help align them once you have knotted them all into place. So now I'm going to add the apatite, one of my favorite stones ever. And if it's starting to look like a rainbow, then you are doing this right.
Allie says, yep, can see the structure. Clever way to string solid colors, adds interest to the design.
Oh, thank you so much, Allie. Yeah, I really enjoy that too, because I like to use the Ceylon as a design element. It's kind of like, you know, when you wear clothes, and I love color, but I also really like having something black in my outfit. Usually it's my leggings. So, you know, having that black, in this case Ceylon, it just kind of helps offset the colors of the stones, and it brings a little more interest to the whole look, and it adds a little texture. The knots are not only helping space the beads, but it's like they're framing the beads and adding texture at the same time. And so now I'm just going to add the very last bead on this side, and this is the amethyst, exactly what it looks like. All right, so I'm just going to tighten each string and we will work. All right, so this is what it looks like. And So once I have knotted everything into place, to just kind of loosen it up a little bit and make it a little bit more aligned, this is what I like to do. Can you guys see? I'm just kind of like stretching it a little bit. Can you see the stretch? Very slight stretch. And this makes it just a little bit more drapey as you wear it. It just kind of helps everybody align all these little beads. Okay, so now that we have aligned all the beads, our next element of design that we are using, these little hematite tubes. And I will tell you why I chose those hematite tubes. I kind of wanted to make this in a slightly different way and not have the 3 strings separate. Not that it's a bad look. That's my look for the Herkimer version. But I wanted to do it just a little differently.
Tina's wondering, can you go over the types of stones, because fading in and out of phase?
I would love to go over the stones again. So these are, oh, and by the way, let me just tell you that when, this has been our experience, that when you re-watch the video, even if it's freezing during the actual live, it will not be freezing in replay. So hopefully that is always true. I'm not sure, but that's what I've been told. So we have carnelian, peach moonstone, yellow quartz, which I'm suspecting is dyed. I think it's the only one of the stones that is. So we have yellow quartz, we have green aventurine, apatite, lapis lazuli, and amethyst. All right, ladies, so now back to the rest of the design. So, and you can see, because remember, I'm using a much shorter string than you guys are going to be. I'm starting to run out of string, but that's okay. So I have just enough to finish the demo. So
Tina says, oh, great, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure, Tina.
Suni says, as far as the chakra necklace, it's perfect that you chose hematite to go with it. Hematite repels negativity.
Oh, fantastic. And I hear it's really grounding as well. So thank you so much. All right, ladies. So after we have finished, what I'm going to do is maybe like another 1/2 inch to 1 inch, and this is entirely up to you how you're going to space your beads. So you can count the beads and decide if you want to space them a little closer, which of course means you will have a shorter necklace. So in general, the more knots you have, the shorter the necklace. And yes, you do have some extra beads. So I'm going to tie another knot, and then I'm going to string my hematite. So I wanted to pick something that is kind of dainty, and yet just makes a little bit of a statement. So just like adds just a little texture and a little bit of an accent without taking anything away from the chakra beads, and definitely from the focal. What I'm doing now is just stringing my little hematite tubes onto the Ceylon. And since we have 3 strings of Ceylon, we are stringing the hematite onto each one. And this way we get like this little grouping. Can you guys see the little grouping of hematite? So this is what it looks like. And now we are just going to tie another overhand knot right above the grouping of hematite. So since I'm like very close to being out of string, it's getting a little bit more challenging, but again, you guys have a lot of string, so you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so this is exactly what we do. And now we just, I always pull on each string individually to tighten the knot. So this is what it looks like. They just kind of bunch up, and I think it's really fun. So you continue knotting the hematite groups of 3 into place, and eventually you get to your desired length. And here I'm just showing you what it actually looks like once you have, and obviously you match the chakra beads on the other side. That goes without saying. And I'm just going to move my little chakra beads so that we can go on to the next step. So here I reached my desired length, and I'm going to tie another knot. So you could tie a knot closer to the hematite beads. I actually could have had another pair of groups, but as I was making this necklace, I remembered that, and this is my preference, but I actually prefer to have about 4 inches of whatever stringing material in the back of my neck without any beads. So in a design like this, you know, I'm not saying that it's every time, but in a design like this where I am knotting beads into place only every so often, it's very easy to leave a couple of inches on each side unbeaded. So this is really for just the comfort of wearing it. So I'm going to tie a knot. So again, you can place your knot a little closer or a little further out, your preference. And again, I'm going to just tug on each little string and make sure it's nice and tight. And now we are ready to finish. And this is the kind of necklace, obviously, that does not have a clasp. It's definitely long enough to simply put over your head, and that's how I like it. And for, you know, again, for this type of a necklace. And for a little finishing touch, we have some denim sodalite beads right here, and I chose sodalite and this particular sodalite because it's, you know, it's a casual necklace. It goes with your denim, and it's so I feel like these sodalite beads are so light and so denim-y. They just kind of, and so this is how you do it. You simply tie a knot in each one of the strings, and you can place the knot anywhere between, let's say, 1/2 inch to 1 inch. You can try to go for the same distance, or you can vary. I mean, either way, it works out really fun. And so I don't know, not all 6 beads into place as I'm demoing. I think just 1 is probably enough. So once you have tied all 6 knots, we will pick up a bead and string it onto a single string, and simply tie another overhand knot on the other side of the bead. And that's really it. That's all we're going to do. So once you have the bead on, I usually do all of this at exactly the same time, you know, like I will tie all of the first knot, then I will put the bead, tie a knot, do it with all of the strings, and then snip off the excess string. So I just cut off about that much. And that's it. Once you have knotted the end beads into place, and cut off the excess string. That's the end. There's really nothing more to it. That's it. We just finished the necklace.
Nancy is wondering what size Ceylon will fit through most beads, please.
Oh, Nancy, I would not dare to guess because all beads are drilled differently. I will say if you're working with pearls, they're drilled usually smaller. If you're working with gemstone beads, they're all drilled differently. So the nice thing about buying it in a kit is that, of course, I have pre-tested it for you. Whatever you're getting from me, you know that the size of Ceylon will match the size of the holes in the beads. Outside of that, I will say, when you create, you experiment. Any kind of art involves experimentation. So just stock up on several different sizes and experiment and enjoy. So now that we just finished, well, first of all, do you have any questions? And while you're thinking about questions, I will show you all three groups. So when you get the raindrop version, which I will say we don't have a lot of, so please don't wait. So this is the raindrop version, and these are the exact stones that it comes with. And then we have I don't really remember what we called this version.
Can you show us how the amethyst goes in the netting?
I would love to show you how the amethyst goes in the netting. So do you remember when we first started to make the netting? One of these sides is not like the others. Remember how one side makes kind of a little bit of a loop? Well, that loop is really our friend if we like crystals. And if we're going to put anything that is like a point into the netting, I like to put the point into that initial loop. And I'm just tightening the smart bead here. So can you guys see? It just sticks out through that little loop right there. And this is what it looks like hanging. Can you guys see the point? Okay, so this is what it looks like.
And Suni is wondering what size the tassel beads are on the Raindrops necklace.
Thank you for asking, Suni. So, in fact, all of the versions have the and beads, and I'll show you what the and beads look like on the Herkimer version. So these are actually, I'm untangling, these are actually black labradorite. This is what they look like. And both sets of beads are 4 millimeters, but of course you can use whatever beads make you happy. And this is the other variation of the Herkimer style Shekere.
And Bobby says, just peeked at the price. It is great considering the size of the rocks you're including.
Oh, thank you so much for pointing that out. And I will thank you and I will agree with you, because actually I know what we sell the stones individually through the store for. And I will tell you that you're absolutely right, Bobby. The price is really right, given everything that is included in these necklaces. Thank you so much. So this is one variation, this is another variation, and this is a third variation yet. And I will show you what and I don't remember what we called the colorways. I feel like we may have just called them, named them for the whatever stones are in the two variations, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So if you like the one I just showed, that's the amethyst labrador. We have this one is, of course, I hope you guys can see, it's green aventurine. I know it looks a little dark, but it's a really pretty green. So this is green aventurine. And then we have the rose quartz. I really do like the lighter color stones in this too. I mean, I like them all really. I mean, clearly I picked them out, so I really do like them all. But I think that it's really fun to see the pattern of the netting on the lighter colored stones. And then, of course, as part of this set, you also get the gabbro, which is just really pretty. I love this gabbro. I have only discovered it very recently. And it's black and kind of muted purple. And I love the pattern, Merlinite. You may have seen it as Merlinite before. So actually, I'll just leave it in there. And that is what we made today. So what do you think? This is fun. I had a lot of fun demoing it. And let me give you a little preview of what is to come. So I didn't grab anything to show you because, you know, I was so busy getting ready for the Shekere and I was really excited. But tomorrow morning, we are going to have a super fun Tucson Treasures event. It is Fields of Purple. And in Fields of Purple, lots of things are included. So, of course, what's the big purple stone? Amethyst, of course. So we have amethyst, we have fluorite with lots of purples, we have purple spiny oyster, phosphosiderite, a little bit of lepidolite. So lots of really fun.
Oyster.
Oyster.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I think I said it, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. So anyway, lots of fun purples, and we're calling the event Fields of Purple. And this is a live shopping event, and this is tomorrow, Friday, March 10th at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on the Eclectica page. And then, okay, you remember how you asked me to do a chains event? So guess what? We got it together for next Tuesday and we're doing it. And of course I didn't grab any chains. Trust in the fact that this will be really fun and exciting. If you're looking for chains, please join me for the live shopping event on Tuesday, March 14th.
And this is a special time.
This is a special time. It's at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time on the Eclectica page. This is not an every Tuesday kind of event. This is only like an occasional Tuesday, as we talked about last time. Remember how we all picked 9 a.m.? And so that's going to be our inaugural Tuesday event. And last but not least, we have Celtic Elegance bracelet and Shades of Shamrock bracelet, and those are tutorials on March 16th at 7 p.m. and this is going to be on my page, and I would love to show you what they look like. So,
and sorry, I'm getting some of these comments still pretty late. Kathy H says, could you put a silicone bead in the back so that it would be adjustable?
of course you could, Kathy. Yes, absolutely.
Suni says that tassel would look great on the bottom of the Herkimer stone.
You know what? You are right. And it's almost like you're reading my mind, because I'm thinking in a few weeks I will probably make another Shekere, but that one is going to be with a tassel. But that's a slightly different technique, so you guys will just have to stay tuned.
Yolanda says, hello everyone, I'm late.
Hi, Yolanda. Well, it's okay. You're late, but you're welcome. I'm glad you're joining us. And so you can always re-watch the video if you're interested.
Nancy says, do you sell other large hole stone beads?
Yes, we do. In fact, you know what? We could vote. What would you guys like to see next Friday? I was thinking either large hole beads, to share with you if you're interested, or we could do black and white, or we could do earth tones, or we could do amber, or we could do Roman glass. So you pick. I have lots of ideas. I have lots and lots of treasures to show you guys.
Kim K says both variations are gorgeous.
Thank you so much. I'm assuming you're talking about the Shekere necklace. Thank you so much. These are very quick bracelets, and these are just kind of like really fun back to basics kind of projects. So I will be reviewing some really good basics like wrapped loops as well as crimping, all that good stuff, and combining the two. And of course, I'm usually just a little late for St. Patty's. I don't know why I can't get my schedule together, but this is the pre-St. Patty's kind of project. But you know what? You can wear it all year long. Even if you're not Irish, I think you have to just be Irish, you know, in your soul. And I think I am, but I am also 4% Irish. I like saying that.
Pammy J says, I agree, the lighter colored stones pop with the black netting.
Oh, thank you so much.
Fonda says, all are pretty, and adds, I love the amethyst.
Thank you so much, Fonda. Okay, guys. So I believe we explored everything. Oh, yes, if you want to vote, and you can tell me tomorrow as well. I'm hoping that you join me for tomorrow's event, which is, again, Fields of Amethyst. And this is going to be tomorrow, 9 a.m. CST. And it's going to be on the Eclectica page. So Fields of Amethyst. That's regarding the Friday after. I don't know what date that is, but whatever Friday is next week. If we have some ideas, I threw out a few. Tell me which one you like.
And we'll check the comments after the video because we're getting them much later than
Oh,
they post.
yes. Again, I'm sorry about the comments being late. But yes, your comments are very, very important to me. In fact, you know, I feel like this is teamwork. It's not just me deciding what we do next. I think it's all of us deciding what we do next.
Karen says, thank you for sharing your talent with us. Love the design. I have the original kit from last year.
Oh, yay. Thank you so much, Kim. But I heard you say you still have it in a kit form, but please make it, unless, of course, you did. But if you haven't, please do.
Suni says large hole beads. Kim C says Roman glass. Suni says Roman glass. Ellen says amber and Roman glass. Allie says Roman glass would be cool. Katie S says large hole would be great. Fonda says Roman glass. Ellen says, what stones are the Celtic bracelets?
Oh, what stone? Okay, so yes, I would love to tell you about the Celtic bracelets. So the Celtic bracelets are, for once, I'm actually not using stones, although of course that's always my favorite, but these are actually Swarovski crystals, and in many cases, it's the last of some of the colors. And the reason I'm saying in many cases is because you're only seeing one of each colorway, but I'm actually going to have multiple colorways. And you may have seen the preview picture. If you RSVP'd for the event, you would have seen 3 different colorways of the Celtic Elegance one. Because, you know, of course, green is so traditional, but why get stuck on the green? I mean, we can do this all year round. We can wear these bracelets year round, especially the Celtic Knot one or the Celtic Elegance one is so, I feel like it's so dainty and so elegant, and I want to be able to wear it all year round. So I'm making it in some very non-traditional colorways. So if and when you join me next Thursday, you will see exactly what the 1 or 2 more colorways. But in the meantime, you can see the different colorways in the preview. All right, ladies. So I believe we are probably all done for tonight. So I thank you again for watching and for all of your wonderful comments. In the meantime, I feel like we're really leaning towards the Roman glass. And I think what I'll do is I think I'm just going to commit to doing Roman glass next Friday. And maybe I will bring in some stones that get along really well with Roman glass. I think some things that are really complementary to Roman glass would be really fun. So I'm kind of seeing some aquas in our future and some other really fun things. So I think we have a plan. All right, so thank you again, and I will see you in the morning. In the meantime, have a wonderful and creative evening.